Hi there, my name is Dr. Sherriden Masters and I'll be your trainer today, and we're going to be looking at the Gmail inbox types, a way of making your inbox more efficient and work for you. The learning objectives for today are to find out more and get a deeper understanding about the different inbox types, and also to look at how they might work within your communication model. So it's really for two audiences. If you're a new user to Gmail and you have a fresh new inbox and you're trying to figure out where it might fit in your life or your work, what types of options are available to you, that's one audience. And the second user might be someone who maybe is in a business or has a great deal of communication that's partitioned, and they have to deal with subscriptions or updates, maybe integrating their social media, or even looking at multiple inboxes, being channeled through one inbox. So that's the use case for this. But before we dive in to the training content, and kind of go through the learning objectives in detail, I should give you some orientation about how this course will work. And so in a second, you'll be asked for a poll, really to identify who out of those two roles you are. And also there'll be a link to some help pages. I do use help pages a couple of times through this tutorial. And so it's good to have that link in your hand, maybe open as a sidebar, so that you can use that when you wish. In terms of the way that you'll see these pauses, a sidebar will pop up on this side of your screen. And you'll be asked summative questions as we go through. There's 5 sections to this tutorial, and I'll kind of signpost them as we go through. And at the end of each section, there'll be a small formative quiz, a couple of questions, just helping you identify the learning outcomes and make sure that you're happy moving forward. And you can always skip back and review that content if you're wondering if you're wondering about the answers to those summative questions. I'm afraid you can't skip forward because the training goes in sequence, so you won't be able to skip forward through this video. And also, if you get any questions wrong during the summative, don't worry about it. It's a guide, you're learning. And so if you click the wrong answer and it shows up as red, don't worry, there's no points. It's just giving you a guide as to what the answer should have been. Then moving forward, you'll also see there's a pre-assessment to your confidence and how you feel about that. You'll see that in a second. And then at the end, there will also be a post-assessment to see if we've actually had some sort of impact on your confidence using Gmail through this tutorial. And then finally, there is a summative assessment where you will actually be asked some questions, and you'll be able to, and these will be given a mark score, and you can talk about that mark score and the criteria with your trainer. And then finally, there'll be a review and evaluation at the end. So that's really the layout of the tutorial today. Right then, so let's dive into the layout. You'll see here a dummy inbox with a few interesting emails on it. On the left-hand side, you'll see where your inbox is, and that's always a handy thing to note. If you're ever hunting around for how do I get back to my inbox, the easiest way is normally on the top left here. You'll be able to see my emails scrolling down here with some interesting titles. They don't have any body text for reasons of clarity, so sometimes you would see body text here. And really, this is where you'll begin. Some of us would wish for an inbox like this at times. And so really, the first piece of orientation here is to find out where we can access the settings to change our inbox types. And the most important button when it comes to this, I'll turn on my mouse focus, is on the top right over here. So you can see this icon is our settings. Interestingly, in this, it's actually our quick settings. I'll talk about more advanced settings later. But when you click quick settings, you can see that there is a variety of different options here. And I'm going to ignore themes and density and things like that and stick just to inbox types. And you can see down here, there's a list of default, important, unread, starred, priority, and then multiple inboxes. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with, we're not going to start with default. I'll come on to that later. We're going to start with important first. And so important really is it's a way of you teaching Google or teaching Gmail Suite how to recognize important emails and from people you either receive emails from regularly or you always do something with them. And the icon for important is this little chevron here. So if I look through my emails right now, I can start to indicate to Gmail which ones are important. So important business stuff, for example, important message. You can see I've contrived this somewhat. Interestingly as well, you can see that some of these are unread. The bold ones are unread, and the grayed out normal case ones are read emails. And I'll show you that in a second. And so when you identify your inbox as important first, you'll start to see that things that you label as important are brought to the top. So if you can imagine if we had 50 emails in this box and there were important ones all throughout, it would draw them up to the top very quickly. So this is the most